Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 5:35. And we have a quorum of 5. We are in search, we're in search of 2, and now we're in search of 4 members. Because at the end of last year, Jim and Dennis resigned. They were not coming back.
Yeah.
Then we had that was added to the 2, which was your brother-in-law,
Right.
Ryan, and who else? Um, Because I counted up my emails. And it put Brian and one other person precipitated us being short 2. Oh, I think it's Ray.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. This question. When's National Night Out? You went.
Yeah.
Anybody else go to National Night Out? I did not. No, I didn't. No. But I heard it was good. And we'll move it to this. Sorry. So we called to order review and approval of minutes from April 24th.
And also from you said you wanted to do the joint too, from last time we tabled it from the last meeting.
Is
It's already been approved by Woodstock.
right, okay. The before we get into that, let's do this. Can we come up with an agreed upon process by which what papers are here and what papers are not? Meaning like what gets printed out for us if we're here and what is up to us to do. And I think anybody that's been here for a couple of years, you know what happens is we try to do it a number of different ways because all of a sudden there's copies of everything. Then you come back to the meeting and there's copies of nothing. But it's not their real responsibility to provide us with copies of everything unless we have a process. Like right now, I thought that meeting minutes would be here, printed, so you're right. But they're not. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're not. So we don't have to decide right now, but I want to throw that on the table so as we come into this winter, and we come into this that we have an idea, we know what we have to bring and what's going to be here. And then if that's all known, then that doesn't mean I have to, like I had to send an email to, it's like, okay, Becky, can you send us the, can you print those out for us? And she doesn't, is, it just makes it easier. We all know what's going to be here when we get, or what is our responsibility. I don't think we're going to take on any responsibility for printing out our own stuff because some people have printers and some people don't. So then you get here and then somebody's running in the back to take copies for everybody. So I'm putting that on the table. And if anybody has any suggestions as to how they might want to set this up, other than just say, okay, town prints everything out for us.
So I'm okay either way. I can print my own stuff, but it would be good enough. So I know whether to do that. Obviously, it's easier if the town prints everything, but if that's a bit much to ask, then not fine. Except the big pack.
Yeah.
It's like, if it gets too big, that's not good.
I don't mind the onesie twosie stuff. I'll print that out all day long. You know, you get into 27 pages. You know,
There you go. Right.
I love it. Yeah. No, and a lot of stuff that they can print out hours before we get it, and it's truly current.
Exactly.
Yeah, all the other stuff is fine. I print that in.
Right. Well, that's the only problem, but okay, because onesies, twosies, but then somebody says, well, that was threesies or foursies, I didn't print mine. So can somebody print those? So. We'll come up with a part of that, maybe. Maybe. Actually. Probably should have asked Tracy right away, but. Not print them. But do you think maybe you could coordinate? with the town? Just with, because you know,
Okay.
the same every week. That this is what we can expect to be on our desk. And see how they feel about it. As I said, it's not meant to be a pain. For anybody and everybody. But it just ends up always to be a sort of a, like, okay, who's on first?
Right. Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, thank you. So, we have a copy of the minutes. Hold on.
Send them to you.
I know, I didn't print them because I thought they might be here. But I can go in and get them.
I have a copy right here, if you would like mine. Okay,
So I put it automatically. Connected, so. Okay. Is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes from April 24th meeting?
So moved. Second.
Second, okay, discussion?
It's not.
Has everybody seen the tentative meeting schedule for the coming year, starting January 1st?
I've seen that even more.
It's in the drive.
Oh, it's on the drive, all right, oh,
He is, yeah, click in there, you'll see it, yeah. And so our next meetings, and that was my mistake, is I remember Tracy, thank you, told me that. From our discussion, because it was National Night Out, so we're supposed to change that. So our next meeting that's not on our written list is October 7th, and then we have another one that's November 2nd.
you want to do what they think about, the joint ones with Rock.
I think. But I don't think we could do that tonight, because I don't think anybody's gonna have it. I'll put that on the, and I don't think there's anything drastic. But it's just when we did the minutes, it was their meeting, so they did the minutes. Right? And they approved it, on their end, we didn't approve it. But I don't think there's anything, it's just a housekeeping. Okay, no further discussion on the minutes from April 24th. All in favor of approving the meeting minutes from April 24th, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Discussion of the budget process for the upcoming year. As was in those meetings, as was in those minutes, there are a couple members that have requested to see more detail on the budget expenditure. We as a committee can request that. Is I know, and as I said, we can request it. The committee votes. We don't have, I don't want to take a vote now, but votes that we want to do that, we can do it. is, I think the logistics, we just have to sort of keep in mind, because, and Karina's aware. But you know, all the details, like 350 pages. Right. Yeah, so it's not like we're gonna get a stack of 350 pages. Details every time.
People can be specific. If there's an area I wanna look into, so again, we don't wanna cast the net so far wide. We get back way too much to digest.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I would suggest, is that we do it by exception, special request, if there's particular. Stay with the general information unless somebody feels they see something that they would like to look into.
I think that, you know, that could go along that way. The only other part for educational purposes is maybe if they, you know, if they have one that they printed or it's budgeted and it sits on the drive. So that way, if you want to go in and look at something, go ahead. Your particular,
To do that,
printing out all this stuff.
really, it's just trees,
You don't want 145 page stuff,
sometimes,
which one would be?
Well, that's that, other than that, nobody brought anything up about any real change in how we approach the budget process for 2026. The only thing we are doing, which I'm in favor of, is that we're having a meeting on October 7th, one on December 2nd. So just for a sheet where we find out when they're gonna give us the budgets. They might not, they will know probably by December 2nd. But, and I forget, there was an error, probably me, that happened at the beginning of this past year, because we didn't have the procedure. I forget, it's in the minutes. That's the only thing. The other stuff is, I always just say, sort of have an idea what you're coming in with, you know, when you have the budgets, have an idea, kind of like, as I always remind everybody, read the selectmen's minutes. So that, because a lot of the stuff that they come into, they've already discussed it, the selectmen. And that's where this is coming up, so we're asking questions like on the second one instead of the first one. And I think Wayne had talked about, and I'll double check with him, the conversation came up between Wayne and I, actually, it was on him doing maybe a little synopsis, because he goes to every one of these selectments. And that he could maybe throw that out at the beginning of one, what he found with the last one. Or what does he know that's pertaining to, he's a very knowledgeable guy. He's been on board stuff like that. What he knows already that's pertaining to the stuff that we're. So again, that's for what everybody's, that's for everybody's here. Anybody have anything else they want to do on the review of the process? Process seems pretty good at the moment. Also you'll find on the drive as I went to my first CIP meeting. We got here at 1 o'clock, and that's myself and Paul, Jack Daly, Becky, but Becky's not really a member, and Karina. It's good. It's interesting. It's interesting as far as when you start to look at and you can find the packets of stuff like what the CIP is talking about is on the drive under CIP, and it's not easy, and it's a lot of, you know, you're trying to project out to 30, 31, 38, 30, what you're going to have in there, and the today we met with the fire department, and what they're talking about is, you know, a truck right now that's been in their CIP, the ladder truck for 1.2 million. Is basically they said Franconia got a quote, you know, we're supposed to get it at 31 or 30. 31, don't hold me on that. But, you know, they quoted at 1.8. So we're at the CIP at 1.2. So there was a, you know, change. Now, and the first one happens with CIP, there's the first round of stuff. Department heads come in, just like they do with our budgets, they come in with their CIP and what they think they need and what they're gonna have to go through and do, and the committee goes, okay, this. And then I think after they all go through, then we go through it again to see what needs to shrink, if something needs to shrink. And the hardest part about this is you know, when you're doing stuff for 5 years down the road, or 10 years down the road, as far as what's it gonna cost?
I used to always put in 5% annually for escalation, inflation, however you want to characterize it.
And that's, you know, that's under discussion. And it used to, it was in, and it wasn't in, but I think it's up for discussion, and I think it's up for, you know, this year.
Well, these years, a couple bucks back.
Yes,
If you're over budget, it's better than,
right,
slightly over.
right. The argument comes up from those that are, you know, they say, well, yeah, you over budget, and then we find a reason to spend to their budgets. That's what happened. But the management of this, you know, I think they manage it.
Gotta rely on people, they're trying to do the right thing. No, I think no one artificially inflates it. Yeah, but I think you gotta be careful.
You gotta be careful. And, you know, because I was even thinking, you know, if you've got a project if you've got a capital item that you have to purchase, you know, 10 years from now. And again, this is not the actual calculation of it, but if you're doing 3% a year, that's 30% after 10 years. So that means you don't have to whack it that hard every year. It means and you know, you have Becky, you have finance person, can figure out that prorated to get to that based on this much percentage each year. And it's,
Yeah. Well, like the last 5 years, been chaotic.
yeah,
Unprecedented, several different layers, inflation, supply chain interruption. So, you know, hopefully that smooths out and get back to a more normal pace, going forward, but we'll see. Yeah. It's hard to plan, definitely makes it hard to plan. Costs.
right. But I think the town, what you know, and again, I'm just kind of getting into it. I don't know that much about it, but I understand capital spending. But I think what Karina wants, and what a capital improvement plan is supposed to be, is so that you don't have big shocks all of a sudden. Now you need $900,000.
Most of the time, is I screwed up, need $2 million.
Right.
No thanks.
Right. But, you know, and then again, but it's good to, you can get the feeling that, okay, oh, you're just gonna keep adding, make the CIP, make sure everything's in there, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, everything's. And, you know, your tax rate has gone to this. And so you don't want that either, it's the balance, and that's what Korea and
It is planned.
yes, it is a plan. There are tools that you can use to plan that out.
I think people understand what the rationale is for notified.
Maybe we can trade that real estate for the fire. Yeah, maybe with a real estate plan.
Just a joke, and then with the law might require you to have those fire trucks.
Yep.
Because you have that.
Short story, but I was building condos up in PV Swampscott line back in the '80s. And I didn't get my building permit, so I actually paid for having a home. There you go. Yeah, a little different direction.
Yep, well, that subject came up about donations from developers, but donations are like, who decides what it's supposed to be? You know, is this for this one donates this, that one donates that?
They can write the donation on. They're paying tax.
That's what I was doing.
But Karina is going to,
Can you deduct your taxes from your federal taxes? So,
Karina is looking into what other towns have for impact fees. In a sense of, you know, and it's a wise move. We've had the tap fees.
Lincoln's a very unique position when it comes to the tax fees. A lot of the towns around here are going through the same extraordinary growth.
Right.
Over to North Conway, so
I don't think anybody.
I was North Conway doing it, you know, they get
They went through it.
foundation, one place you turn around with that.
Yeah.
And, you know, what we have, we have, I think there's, I saw it today, I think there was 1.4 million that we picked up from sewer, and water tap fees. That's in the account. And that's good, but as density grows, we're gonna have more expenses. You know, there's more stuff, more infrastructure that has to go along with that. So again, that's what they've actually, you know, they have, you know, engineers and stuff that put value on this using statistical methods and. Well, you could not think about, okay, let's get a bumper.
Yeah, there is, there's a lot of standards that you provide too. Yeah, again. Several different groups have well done software, you can plug in everything and it'll tell you when you know. Where you stand on a national grade for that type of stuff.
Right, and then you have to adapt that to your local conditions, but it gives you a framework, and just like what Cindy brought up about, water use, water shortage. Where Cindy brought that, the studies that she saw, that, one was Canada, and one was, I forget where it was, but yeah, you have to pay for the study to get done. And you can't sit around and decide whether it's selected. If we're gonna come up with it. Get it. We don't have any letters to review. And, but as I said in my thing, I didn't expect, it's kind of quiet, you know, it's kind of. It's not season, it's like off season, budget cut.
A lot of people are on vacations.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the interest will crop up, later, hopefully, you know, maybe not, but if you, talk to people, if you know of anyone.
How many vacancies do we have? Four.
Keeps it warm.
Yeah, exactly. Cold night is up.
I'll see if I got. I've been trying to get, one of my friends to get one.
Just, I was surprised, like planning board has like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. They do too, yeah.
So,
I talked to a few people too, but it seems to that. The towns get bigger, but there's less people here, so we don't want to get.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know.
It is. It's just.
No, I think you would have let people, back up the way that. Our pools for people to be on these things, kind of going up.
And, you know, and it's the same with. Everybody's busy,
Yes.
you know, anybody that's got a family, raising a family is working full time.
Just hang around with something to do, so keep me.
I'm headed.
I'm at it there too.
We don't land on that. Yeah.
Keep me out of the funding book.
But thank you for everybody for contributing. And, yeah, it is, I find it fascinating. As far as, you think about it, as far as putting this together, getting a whole town to run, and it sounds like gee whiz type stuff, which it is. But to make it all run and to have input system, to have input, and then also have it so that, very basis is your general assembly, is your townspeople are the ones that are making the decision. And So anyway, I'm fascinated, happy.
Good. That's all I can say. That's good.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you, everybody. for listening. Thank you also. Are you fascinated?
Oh, yes.
You look fascinated.
Yes, that's it, I forgot about that. I've been to this.
I've got something else.
Yeah, September 22nd. Yeah, it's fascinating. Is, the town pays for it. The town generally, if there's enough of us, the town will also provide transportation. And get lunch. And so you know, is you, any of the members, budget committee members can contact the New Hampshire Municipal Association for opinions, advice, questions, and you're talking to an attorney that's there. Just so you know, if you do call over, they will notify the chair that somebody from the committee called to inquire. But they've saved me a couple times. They saved me a couple times, a couple of years ago, when I just like, hey, you know, it's really bad. Was this really long? And it was like, no, that's
I remember.
yes. And so if anybody wants to go, you know, I'll bring it up. We won't have another meeting between now and then, so I'll send an email out requesting again if anybody wants to go. If I have the time, I mean, if I'm not working that day, if I'm not working that day, I just.
I would go. I'm taking my vacation in September.
That's fine.
I got enough on the calendar, so I might just, it might be informational for me.
Yeah, it was for me. And that was about 5, did you go? Over in, it was over in, Attitash.
When's the one that wasn't out?
Yeah, that's the one at Attitash. It's not painful. They don't call on you. You don't have to know the answers.
Well, that would happen when I call and they know about that.
Is we don't have to go through any expenditures tonight. I don't think.
No.
We have the list, right here it is, take a look at it, that everything.
Motion to return.
Second.
Discussion is what we can do. If you're looking through any of this stuff and you have any questions or anything goes on, because we're not going to meet again until October 7th, is send me an email. The only thing we can't do is we can't do anything in an email chain.
Right.
But if you send me an email and I can pass it to everybody, but we can't discuss it.
Right, discuss.
I can reply back individually.
That's illegal.
You can talk individually.
Right.
You just can't talk as a group.
Exactly.
So if anything pops up like with this or, with the Hampton or anything, or if you have a member, somebody that's interested that wants to join, I mean, a potential member.
I want to do some recruiting.
I will too. Now that
I've
it's
been
on,
Brian myself. Actually, one of my friends is retired. One of my neighbors is retired.
so he'll be okay with the salary level of this job.
Yeah,
You're sure?
he's comfortable.
And the benefits,
Is he all right?
yeah, well, we understand the benefit.
He's actually he works for the government, so it's fun.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
Well, that,
And it's great having everybody from different walks of things.
right, one very background.
So. Okay, anything else? Okay, motion and a second. That's true. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Opposed? No? Okay. Universal.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Good for your battery. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. No
Well,
idea.
I don't know how to do this.
I got an idea too, the usual suspects.